Have you ever noticed that some people can bend the tips of their thumbs way back, while others have thumbs that stay straight? That bendy thumb is called a hitchhiker's thumb, and it's a trait you inherit from your parents. Today, we're going to learn how to predict the chances of inheriting it using a tool called a Punnett square. A Punnett square is a simple diagram that helps us figure out the possible genetic combinations that can be passed from parents to their children. Let's start with the basics. Traits like the hitchhiker's thumb are usually determined by a single gene that comes in two forms, called alleles. Alleles are just different versions of the same gene. To make it clearer, the gene responsible for the thumb flexibility trait has two alleles, the straight thumb allele and the hitchhiker's thumb allele. In this case, we'll use a capital H for the dominant allele, which gives you straight thumbs, and a lowercase h for the recessive allele, which results in a hitchhiker's thumbs. If someone has at least one dominant H, their thumb will be straight. Only if they have two recessive H alleles, one from each parent, will they show the hitchhiker's thumb trait. Step 1. Identify the parents' genotypes. Let's say both parents have straight thumbs, but each carry one dominant allele, capital H, and one recessive allele, small letter h. That makes both of them heterozygous, written as dominant H and recessive H. So the father's genotype is dominant H and recessive H, and the mother's genotype is also dominant H and recessive H. Step 2. Set up the Punnett square. Start by drawing a large square and divide it into 4 smaller boxes, 2 rows and 2 columns. Next, write the father's alleles, dominant H and recessive H, across the top, and the mother's alleles, also dominant H and recessive H, down the side. Now, you're ready to fill in the boxes. Step 3. Fill in the boxes. To find out the possible genotypes of the children, simply match each letter from the top with each letter from the side. Let's go through them one by one. In the top left box, we match dominant H from the top with dominant H from the side. So that gives us both dominant H and H. In the top right box, we combine recessive H from the top with dominant H from the side. That's dominant H and recessive H. Next, in the bottom left box, we pair dominant H from the top with a recessive H from the side, another dominant H and recessive H. And finally, the bottom right box combines recessive H from the top with recessive H from the side, resulting in both recessive H and H. So, the 4 possible combinations for the offspring are both dominant H and H, dominant H and recessive H, another dominant H and recessive H, and both recessive H and H. Step 4. Analyze the results. Out of the 4 boxes, we have 1 both dominant H and H, 2 dominant H and recessive H, and 1 both recessive H and H. This gives us a genotypic ratio of 1 both dominant H and H, 2 dominant H and recessive H, and 1 both recessive H and H. In terms of percentages, 25% of the offspring may have dominant H and H, 50% may have dominant H and recessive H, and 25% may have recessive H and H. Each box represents 25%, together making up 100%. This tells us the combination of alleles the children could inherit. Now let's talk about what we can actually observe. That's called the phenotype. Both dominant H and dominant H and recessive H result in straight thumbs. Only both recessive H and H gives us the hitchhiker's thumb. So the phenotypic ratio is 3 straight thumbs and 1 hitchhiker's thumb. In other words, there's a 75% chance the child will have straight thumbs and a 25% chance they'll inherit the hitchhiker's thumbs. And that's how you make a Punnett square. By observing the parent genotypes and following just 4 simple steps, you can predict how traits like the hitchhiker's thumbs are passed down from one generation to the next. Want to try it with the other traits like dimples, eye color, or tongue curling? The Punnett square is your go-to tool. Thanks for watching!